Perfect. Perfect.
All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk. This is the show where we cover the SWAC inside and out. And I'm your tour guide around the SWAC. See what's coming at you. And today we're going to continue our 12-team previews. Today we talk about the Jackson State Tigers, the defending SWAC champs, the two-time defending SWAC champs, working on a three-peat. This is a very intriguing team, man. This team is an enigma. This team can be almost anything anybody wants them to be. So this is going to be a fun preview, a lot easier than that Bethune-Cookman preview that I did, where a team who was kind of in the same boat in terms of replacing a lot of guys and starting over. So this team can be whatever you want. You can mold them however you want into your own shape of clay. So we'll talk about JSU for a bit. Before we do that, we have the rest of our team previews on my socials. You can check that out. And see what date your favorite team is coming, or a team you don't like. See what date when they coming. You can check those out on the socials. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Instagram SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76. We have hit the 1K mark, man. So first off, I'd like to thank everybody for helping us hit that 1K mark. That was a goal that I set a while ago. Never really seemed like we'll get there. Seemed like it took a long time, man. But I appreciate everybody for subscribing and helping us reach that goal. We're going to continue to bring y'all really good content and make your subscription worthwhile. So if you haven't subscribed, you still can subscribe. You know, we still looking for more numbers as usual. We don't want to stop at 1K. We want to keep going. And so if you want to hit that button and you like these kind of previews and things like that, hit that subscribe button. We got our Chopping It Up series that we do every so often. We got SWAC Smoke, which is our live show on Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do weekly previews and recaps of each game. Also going to try to do a little bit of soccer and volleyball, you know, to show some love to the SWAC women's sports. You know what I mean? This is SWAC Talk. I say I cover the SWAC inside and out. So I want to, you know, show a little love to the sports that are not just football and basketball. So we're going to try to do a little bit of soccer preview, volleyball preview. And during the season, we'll kind of do some updates and things like that. Just to kind of show love to everybody, because this is SWAC Talk and we try to cover the SWAC inside and out, like I said. And it's not just a tagline, man. That's what we do. So with that being said, man, you can also join the channel as a member. Got all the perks up there. Y'all can check those out. Hit that notification bell. Like the video, share it, and feel free to comment on how you think JSU is going to do. I do have one PSA. If you're gonna say I don't know nothing, man, please tell me what I said wrong. Don't come at me with some, oh, you wrong, you don't know nothing, and then you don't say nothing. Because otherwise I'm gonna look at it like you don't know nothing. So if you got something that I said wrong or something that you don't agree with, because I didn't pick your favorite team to beat somebody, then man, tell me why I'm wrong. I like to learn, man. Maybe I didn't, maybe I missed something. You know, a lot of this stuff is kind of guesswork. So if I missed something, educate me. Otherwise, bro, you know, it falls on deaf ears. So I appreciate being told if I missed out on something or I didn't say this guy or that guy's gone, because sometimes you're working off of roster that are not 100% accurate. So I make mistakes. But if you want to correct me, man, correct me and let me know what I said wrong. Don't just say, oh, you don't know nothing, you're wrong. That don't help me at all. And that gets you looked at crazily. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and jump directly into this, man. We're not going to waste no more time talking about all the other minutia, and we're going to talk JSU football, man. The Tigers, like I said, they are the defending SWAC champs, coming off of their second straight Celebration Bowl. What have I done? Let me fix this thing. All right, they're coming off their second Celebration Bowl. New coach. This is the TC Taylor era. Everything happened before that is in the past. TC Taylor era moving forward. A lot of people didn't even know what Jackson State would do. in the offseason. I mean, this is a team that lost 28 guys to the portal from when Coach Prime left. They lost 28 guys in the portal, but they brought in 29 guys. So they have brought in, that's just portal guys. That's not even counting high school guys that they brought in. They brought in as many as they lost. So you cannot say that they don't have numbers. They brought in talent. Whether you're a JSU fan or you're a JSU hater, man, you got to admit that this team still recruited well. One of the top recruiting classes in FCS. That cannot be denied. You know, certain things, even as a fan, even as somebody who's not a JSU fan, you have to be real and admit that this team is still on an upward trend. They are not, they are not going anywhere. If you don't like JSU, and you're a fan of one of their rival teams, I hate to tell you like this, man, and I ain't trying to fanboy or nothing over JSU because I'm Southern all day, but this team is not going anywhere. I'll cover all my scheduled things in a minute, but this team has a lot of talent coming in. They lost a lot of talent. I'm not saying they brought in comparable talent. We don't know for sure, but they do have talent. It's just can they put it all together? That's going to be the key to this team because this team lost obviously their starting quarterback. They lost their top 3 rushers. They lost their top 4 pass catchers and their top 8 tacklers. And they lost a hell of a kicker and some great return guys. So they lost a lot, but they did bring in a lot of guys who are capable of doing the job. Now, some of these positions, they may have to have more than one guy fill holes. And that's okay. You know, I mean, that's not an issue. I think that this is a team that's gonna be in the thick of things. I don't think it's wrong to say that this team couldn't be considered a contender for these division in the preseason. A lot of it is gonna be determined by how this team gels in the first 4 games. And like I said, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. This is one of those times where when you look at what happened last year with stats and everything, none of it really matters because the team is so different. So I'm not going to really spend a lot of time talking about 2022 because this is an all new team. There's no 2 ways about that. This is an all new team, all new coaching staff, new philosophies in certain areas. So to me, obviously, it's certain areas that you look at that you say, there's playmakers all over the field. Who's gonna take the reins in certain spots. Quarterback is obviously probably the one spot that everybody looks at, even opposing fans. You have a guy like Jason Brown coming in. He's a grad transfer. He went to Virginia Tech, but before that, he was at South Carolina, where he started 4 games in 2021, going 2-2. And before that, he played at St. Francis, where he was an sophomore All-American, throwing for over 3,000 yards and 28 touchdowns with 6 interceptions. So the ability is there. You also have a guy like Zion McDonald who came in from ULL. You have Grayson Thompson who was there, who transferred from North Texas, been at JSU. You have Jacobian Morgan coming from Syracuse, who started some games as a true freshman in 2020. Hadn't really played a lot since, but he's a guy who's a 3-star guy. And you have Philip Short, who's a JUCO guy, who is somebody that some people may feel is a dark horse. Right now, to me, I think it's Jason Brown. Even if nothing else, he's the most experienced quarterback out of all those guys. He has the most in-game action of all those guys. He's played. He started games at 2 different places. So he's been around, and I think he is the guy that you want to hitch your wagon to, especially early. You want to have a guy who can be unflappable and help this team grow because you're gonna have a new offensive line. You're gonna have a new group of running backs. You're gonna have a new group of receivers, and you have one of if not the best tight end in the conference, DJ Stevens, who I would love to see get more work. Tight ends will probably be featured heavily, and that's a guy who is a great tight end. So he is the leading returning receiver on the team right now. Last season he caught 37 passes for 376 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he's definitely a guy that can be a nice target for a quarterback who is new to this roster. Obviously you've been through the spring, so you're not brand new to the guys, but still, you haven't been in a game situation with these guys. So having a guy like that to lean on can make any of your quarterbacks more comfortable. And that, to me, that's a huge factor. All your quarterbacks are over 6 foot, which is something I always love. I don't like short quarterbacks. I mean, they have their place, but having a guy that's 6'2", 6'3" with size that can move his feet can definitely help your offense. Just looking at your receiver room, you have some guys coming in. You have Duke Miller, who transferred from New Mexico. You return Rico Powers. He didn't really get a lot of action, but he's a guy who can make some things happen. Seven McGee is a versatile type of guy. I expect to see him be one of those guys that can touch the ball all over the field, maybe even help you in the return game. Isaiah Spencer's a young guy coming in who can make some things happen. Isaiah Kendall is another freshman. Kobe Paul is a name that you'll hear a lot. There's so many guys. I mean, you just look at the roster. There's tons of guys who can be a factor in his offense. The key to me, obviously, is the offensive line providing the time and giving them an opportunity to run their routes and get open and building that chemistry with the quarterback. When you look at the running game, there's talent there still. I mean, obviously, you lose a guy like you lose your leading rusher in Savion Wilkerson, but you return some really good guys. J.D. Martin's a guy who I think will have a pretty solid season, maybe a breakout guy. Irv Mulligan is a big time factor could be a big time factor in this run game. Coming from Wofford, he ran the ball for average of 6.9 yards per carry in 2021, totaling 859 yards and 8 touchdowns as an all-conference second-team guy. Definitely somebody I would look out for. Like I said, the roster has the talent. Desmond Moultrie is another guy who I think can get some playing time. The running game should help the passing game, but like I said, it all depends on the offensive line. A lot of what we're saying now is a lot of ifs and ands. That's what makes this a little bit interesting. It makes it a little bit tougher because you don't really know 100%. What's what. The defensive side of the ball, I think, is going to be strong. It probably won't be, especially early, as strong as the last couple of years, but they will be a really solid team. Isaac Peppers, that's a name I really like from Pine Bluff. He's a grad transfer. Had a pretty solid career there. Definitely is a veteran guy. Would love to see him make some things happen there. Arrington's another returning guy that you can look for to help the defense get better. The Devontae Davis on the D line. You got Cornelius Miller coming back. True Thompson didn't get a lot of time, but he's a guy who can be a plug in the middle. There's so many guys, man. Just Antonio Doyle's coming back. The D line is going to be tough. The secondary is going to really be great. Led by Isaiah Guthrie. I think he's going to be an all-SWAC guy. You have Tristan Sions, a young freshman who may get some time in there. Kendrick Wiggins is also back. Jalen Hughes. There's talent all over this team. It's just, can they put it all together? Special teams. Matt Knoll from Delaware State, all-conference guy. You have Baszler returning, who's your kickoff guy, and can be your kicker. Like I said, there's talent everywhere, and a lot of guys. Philip Webb's another guy who I didn't mention, that linebacker. Definitely can be in the mix. It's a nice problem to have as a new coach. being able to find, who to put where and playing with the pieces of the puzzle, and putting things together and seeing where your strengths lie as a team. So to me, before we get into the schedule, because like I said, there's not a lot to really go in depth on this team right now because there's so many new faces all over all over on both sides of the ball. Can they come together and play as a unit? I think they will. I think you'll see some up and down moments. I think that they're going to win their fair share of games. But there'll be some rocket moments here and there. As the team comes together. TC Taylor as a new head coach, how's he gonna handle that? There's been success stories as guys who have been, first time head coaches. So it's not like that's automatically losing season because you have a guy who hasn't been there. But that's always going to be something to witness, especially early in the season. Some of his philosophies, how aggressive he's going to be on offense. Certain things, handling certain situations. Being able to mold and gel his team in his image, which to me they're already starting to do. The team is a little bit more, I don't want to say business oriented, but a little bit more low key because teams take on the personality they coach, and obviously Coach Prime was a very outgoing, loud personality. Coach Taylor was more of a business type of personality, and making things happen. Just put your head down and work. So the team is kind of taking that vibe. Still gonna be a team to beat. I think that early in the season is where you're probably gonna see your most shaky moments. That's where I think this team will, find themselves because I think once they hit mid-season, they'll be playing well enough to win games, even if it's just on talent alone. If you're an opposing fan, your worst nightmare is for JSU to start the season off strong, winning a couple games really in a good fashion. I'm not saying like a 40 piece or nothing like that, but winning games, playing solid football, maybe making a mistake or two, but playing really well. That's your worst. That's your worst nightmare because that means that this team is clicking early, and they'll be able to take that and run with it. It's possible that they start slow. I mean, I think unless you're just looking at everything through blue and white glasses, which is fine. That's your thing. That's your thing. But if you're looking at it, through realistic glasses, you have to understand that there's a possibility that this team could drop a game or two early. I don't think this team's going to lose very many games once you get into the season. And like I said, we'll jump into the schedule now since I'm already talking about that. South Carolina State's a very intriguing first game. South Carolina State was not good offensively last season. They are a team historically that plays solid defense. They're always a physical team, and they always want to be able to run the football. Quarterback play has been iffy the last few years, but they did beat North Carolina Central last season by making the game an ugly game. So it's not impossible for this team to make this be an ugly game. And as the first game, you don't really like to play teams like this because they can turn everything that you worked on into a slugfest. And if you're not ready for that, you can find yourself in a tough position. But I think that this is gonna be an interesting game. I don't really think it's gonna be one of those games that's so pretty that you want to watch it over and over. But I do think Jackson State A has enough talent to win this game, and B, I think that they'll be motivated enough to win this game. And if they can capitalize on the mistakes that South Carolina State's gonna make, and they're gonna make some because offensively they're shaky. Then you'll be able to win this game, and winning this game is definitely a good confidence boost. A different approach is how this team would be if they drop this game, but I don't really think that they will. So we're going to operate on them winning this game, and that takes you to September 3rd in the Orange Blossom Classic. Big game, and I think for Jackson State, it's great to have a game before this game because it gives you an opportunity to work out some of the kinks, get some of those first game nerves out of some of those guys who haven't played a lot. or they haven't played at all at Jackson State, but they may have played a little bit somewhere else, and it gives the team an opportunity to make some mistakes and grow, be able to watch film and grow in the week leading up to this game. So to me, that's a good advantage for Jackson State. Last season, because you played an FBS game, I don't think that was a big advantage. If they would have played a comparable team or even a lower division team, you probably would have had a better opportunity of finding out who your team was. And they also had some other stuff off the field, which we're not going to get into that right now. But I think that playing against South Carolina State is going to give Jackson State a good physical test. I don't know how long, but I think it'd be, at least for the first half, this should be a game that would be physical enough to keep them interested and engaged, which helps them in the FAMU game. This is a big game for both teams, and this is a huge game for a first-year coach. With a lot on the line, you won this game the last 2 years. You won SWAC. A lot of people feel like the winner of this game is going to win the East Division and probably win the SWAC championship. So that's a lot of pressure to carry into this game, and that's going to be that to me. That if you can manage that, then I think that you'll find yourself winning this game. I think this is going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout unless either team just absolutely implodes, which is always possible. Turnovers and penalties and things like that early in the season can always make a game get out of hand for either side. But I think this is going to be a close game. And in a close game, I like to go with the team who's beat the team. I like to see streaks end, but I don't like to pick a team to end a streak until they do, because I just don't know if you have it in you to actually get over the mental hump of a losing streak. And that, to me, is the difference between Jackson State and FAMU. Yes, JSU's team is new, but they are very talented. FAMU is very talented as well. They brought in a lot of guys, but I don't know about the mental angle in this game. Because you have so many guys who are returning from FAMU, they have been through this. They may have that here we go again feeling. Sometimes it's good to not know. When you don't know that you don't know, that sometimes that can help you get through a situation. So that's one of the times where maybe not having so many guys back can help you, because they don't know that they don't know. They can just kind of play loose and free. But I do think FAMU has a great chance of winning this game. But I'm picking JSU to win this game as far as the predictions go right now. When we do our week 1 preview, I might change that. September 9th, they go to Baton Rouge to take on Southern. This game, on paper, it looks like a really good matchup. But Southern has some questions as well at the quarterback position. Offensive line is going to be an issue early. The defensive line has a few holes to fill. This could be a slugfest. I think it's going to be a whole lot closer game than the last 2 meetings. I think this game will be similar to the 2021 game, a game that comes down to the fourth quarter. If JSU comes in 2-0, this is going to be a very, very tough test for Southern. If Southern can be coming in off of a win, and both teams are undefeated, 1-0 and 2-0, then you're going to have a great, great matchup. If either team comes in, kind of shaky, the other team is going to be right for the victory. But I still like JSU because I think that even though they have a lot of new guys, I think they'll be 2 games into the season, so I think they'll be a little bit more comfortable with their new additions, and they'll be able to make some things happen. I think this is going to be a tight game, but I think JSU will pull it out. And that leads us to September 16th at Texas State. I would love for JSU to win this game. Texas State has a new head coach. They have added some new pieces at quarterback and all over the field. We don't really know what this team is going to be like, but I think with the number of guys that they have, the scholarship difference, and playing at home, I think I think JSU can. If JSU is 3-0 coming into this game, I think they have a really great chance of challenging Texas State in this game. If they've dropped the game, then who knows? But right now, I think Texas State wins this game solely because they're playing at home and I think that they have the numbers advantage. So that's right now that's the only reason why. But I would love to see JSU win this game. That takes us to September 23rd, home opener against Bethune-Cookman. I've been calling Bethune-Cookman a dub again for everybody, and I don't see that being any different right now. I think JSU will be able to, come home and have a good time at home and take care of business in this game. And then you have an off week on September 30th before you head to Mobile on October 7th to take on the Bulldogs at Alabama A&M. This was a close game last season. I think A&M offensively should be better. I still don't know about their defense. This is one of those games I think that may be close. That those rocky moments you may have with A&M having a strong running game. Maybe they're playing better defense. That's still a lot of guessing. But right now, I think JSU wins this game. But it could be another close affair if the team struggles a bit. And then that leads us to October 14th, which is homecoming against Bama State. Last year's game was close. I think this game may be close. Alabama State's defense is their calling card. The offense, we still don't know how they're going to turn out. But if their offense is playing better, then maybe this could be a tighter game. I think JSU wins this game, but Bama State does have an opportunity to make some things happen if, and like I said, that's a term that's come up a lot this show, if they're able to do anything offensively. I'm not 100% sold on how great their defense is going to be this season because they have lost some really great guys. So we don't really know what they really are going to be. I think a lot of people like the idea of their defense more than what the reality is right now. But I think this could be a scrappy game. How much emotion is in this game is going to, remain to be seen. There's different coaches on the sideline now. A lot of that stuff is gone. It's homecoming at Jackson State, and that's always, a game that sometimes you can kind of get through with a lot of distractions during the week. But I think they found a way to win that game, and that leads us to October 21st at Valley. Everybody feels like Valley's going to get somebody. I've heard a lot of people say Valley's going to get somebody. I feel like Valley's going to get somebody, and just because I feel like it, I'm picking Valley to win this game. Now, I don't think Valley's really going to win this game, but I do think that Valley's tough in Itta Bena. That's all. That has never been untrue. Valley always finds a way to play tight against everybody at home. And the last time JSU went up there, they had a dogfight against Valley to get out of there. With a dub, but they had to fight to get out of there. And sooner or later, Valley's got to be due. They've been close. They've had their moments, and they scrapped and fought against JSU. Sooner or later, it's got to happen at some point. They lost this game by 9 at home in 2021, so it's not impossible. Do I really think Valley's going to win this game? I don't really 100% say. I give Valley like a 25-30% chance of winning the game, but just for this prediction, and this is all in fun. This is not me hating on Jackson State, nothing like that, because I do think JSU probably will win this game, but just to have a little fun with it, I'm picking Valley because, like I said, everybody's saying Valley's going to get somebody. Some people feel like FAMU going to be the one to get it. Some people feel like Bama State going to be the one to get it. Some people feel like A&M going to be the one to get it. So, hey, I'm just throwing my name in the hat right there. That leads us to October 28th at Pine Bluff. That's a victory. Pine Bluff, a lot of questions. We don't know nothing about that team at all. So I think JSU navigates that game. That leads them to November 4th at home against Texas Southern. This could be an interesting matchup. This could be a preview of a SWAC championship matchup. TSU, they could be playing for a SWAC championship berth at this point. JSU will be playing for a division title. TSU, they had, the last time they went to Jackson, they ran the ball extremely well. Didn't really, wasn't enough to keep them in the game as they lost that game by 20. But, they were able to move the football. So I think this offense from TSU is going to be really good. I think the defense will be. I think the defense will be improving again. They weren't great last season, but they took some big strides. But they still have some more strides to take. Um, I think a lot of this schedule depends on how this JSU team gels. I mean, if they're rolling, then they can win this game. Pretty solidly. If they are struggling at any point, this could be a rocky game. I mean, it's the week before your bye week, before the Soul Bowl. Sometimes games like that can catch you because you're looking forward to an off week. That maybe you've had a rough stretch of games and you're just trying to make it through to the off week. A game like this can catch you, but I think that they'll be able to win this game. And like I said, they have off week on November 11th, and then they play Alcorn at home on November 18th. Another game that could be a preview of a SWAC championship game, and boy, having these two teams play on the 18th of November and then turn around and play on December 2nd is crazy. This is possible. It can happen. I think JSU and Alcorn are going to be a slugfest, man. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. I did pick JSU to win this game. I think they're playing at home. I think that's going to help a lot. And this team should be a really good team. And like I said, that gives me a final record of 9-2, 7-1 in conference. So, fam, you still won't be able to get to the SWAC championship, even though they'll finish tied with JSU in my scenario. My ceiling for JSU is 10-1. I'm always hesitant to pick teams to go undefeated. I've never picked anybody to really go undefeated. I've never even picked Southern to go undefeated before. So I always think teams are going to drop a game here or there. I mean, obviously, JSU went undefeated last season in the regular season, so it's not impossible to do. But when I make predictions, I always feel like a team's going to drop a game somewhere. So playing that FBS game is the most ideal game to say they will drop. So that's why I said 10-1. But if they were to beat Texas State and if they were to come into Texas State 3-0 and they beat Texas State, this team is not losing the game all season. I don't see them beating a FBS team and then losing to anybody else on that schedule after that game. So if they come in the Texas State game 3-0 and they beat Texas State, which I'm not saying they are, but just throwing out a scenario, if they were to beat Texas State, then I don't think this team will lose a game. But I put that ceiling at 10-1. My floor is 7-4, and I don't really see that necessarily happening. I mean, it's definitely a possibility, especially with those first 4 games of the season. If you drop 2 of those games, you would have to probably drop another 2 games in conference, which I don't, I think, like I said, I think that's a worst case scenario. So that's why I went with 9-2, because I think that's more likely. And I don't, like I said, I picked the Valley game for shits and giggles. It could be Alcorn, it could be Texas Southern, or anybody else, but I just, picked Valley to have a little fun, because everybody's picking Valley to catch somebody. So that was my thought there. But that basically is where I stand on this team, man. This team is a very interesting team. We don't know what they're gonna be. We know what they can be. We know a lot of the pieces that they have, but it's gonna be interesting to see this team put the puzzle together. And can they continue their reign, or can they three-peat? We did a video about that earlier in the summer. So can they three-peat? It's always possible. I mean, there's not a lot of teams I feel that are talent-wise comparable with JSU. There's not a lot of teams with experience and talent. So the opportunity for them to win the SWAC is still there. I think the rumors of their demise are greatly untrue. So if you're sitting here hoping JSU is going to fall off, then you're probably going to be sorely mistaken. Do I think there'll be a team that dominates the SWAC? I don't think that, but I think that there'll be a team that's going to have an opportunity to win the majority of the games that they play. So again, my pick is 9-2, 7-1. Another SWAC championship berth, and after that, the chips fall where they fall. So that's gonna do it for our show today. Again, thank y'all for helping us get to 1K. We're gonna march to bigger and better numbers from this point on. We have our Valley preview dropping on Wednesday. SWAC Smoke after that on Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Prairie View dropping on next Sunday. And that's no. I think I got my schedule wrong. No, we won't have any previews next week because next week is media day. And then after that, we have Valley and then Prairie View, Southern, and Texas Southern Pablo to close everything out. So we'll probably do a live show on media day that evening to kind of recap everything and give my thoughts on media day and the order of finish and the all swag team and all that stuff. So with that being said, man, I'm your boy C Wells signing out of here, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and we will catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.